Hi, this is Cody Thomas, and this is my contemporary art lesson plan. For my lesson plan, I wanted my 11th and 12th graders to construct a non-representational sculpture made from foam core and Bristol board. This is an 8-day lesson. It's based on the time frame of 1 hour class. The first day is an intro and have the students experiment with the mediums that they will be using if the time allows. Day 2 through 7 are work days. The last day, day 8, is the critique, where a student will critique other peers' work, preferably someone not at their table or a friend's piece, and present it to the class. The main idea for this project is to allow the students to discover non-representational art and understand that works do not necessarily have to have a defined meaning or subject. Some of the enduring essential questions are: what is non-representational art? Why is it important? Why would an artist decide to construct abstract works of art in a three-dimensional space? So this is a really quick playthrough of the PowerPoint that I had made that will introduce relief sculpture and the project. I start by introducing the 4 contemporary artists that we will be looking at, and state that this group of artists use abstract art as it signifies freedom of creating. There is no meaning behind their work, but allow the viewer to construct their own meaning to the piece. I then talk briefly about relief sculpture, the differences between low and high, and give examples. I also talk about history and reliefs such as caves in Spain, cylinder seals, hieroglyphics, stone and marble, and more contemporary artists such as bronze relief pieces. Introducing the project, which is to create at least a sculpture that is made from Bristol board and foam core. At least one side of the sculpture must be a minimum of 12 inches in length. I discuss the steps that should be taken as artists search and experiment for the best expression of the form that clearly states a certain content. In my class, I bring up new vocabulary such as maquettes and thumbnails. One goal for this project is also to encourage the students to experiment with their mediums by tearing, folding, weaving, and so on. To use color, will they keep it monochromatic, complementary, triad, and so forth, or just keep white? The project handout includes all of the materials they will need to successfully complete the sculpture. It lists vocabulary words as well that relates to the project and are included in the PowerPoint in the previous slide. I mentioned the overview, process, and requirements that must be evident in the project. I also go over important information, such as reminding them to always be careful to use sharp blades and that glue guns can burn them. The assessment is broken down into 4 areas that consist of the execution and craftsmanship, the comprehension of the assignment, the finished product as a whole, and the content and concept of the piece. Each question has a point from 0 to 5. 0 is not evident. The student either did not do anything, submit anything, or the teacher can tell that the student just didn't apply themselves. 5 is exemplary. The student applied themselves and shows great comprehension of the lesson, engaged in critique and classroom discussions through the lesson. I always give the assessment to the students along with the handouts, as they can see what I will be grading. Adding all up, the students can make 100 points. This lesson also requires the students to critique one of their peers' work using the art analysis and critique sheet. This is to be completed on day 8, the final day. Sometimes I have the students rotate at least twice to critique a student's work, and then they will present the work to the class on the last rotation. I also include the elements and principles of design cards. And lastly, this is my foam additive non-representational relief sculpture that is made from Bristol board and foam core. Hot glue was the adhesive.